get my 6. What's up, everybody? It is very cold today. It's in the 30s and the wind keeps whipping up, so I put on some of my running gear to stay a little bit warmer, neck warmer here, while I'm out here today, allowing you a beautiful view of the ridgeline here as the sun goes down behind the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. If you've heard what sounds like a cat meowing, it's because you heard a cat meowing. It's Miss Cleopatra over here telling me I need to get out of the woods. She doesn't feel quite safe and she's trying to warn me, but hey, I gotta work, brah. So you just wait. So anyway, happy late Thanksgiving to everybody. As of this recording, it's the day after Thanksgiving. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We had a great time. And it's really weird because the cat started acting like this last night. We, had this bonfire up here. Us and our friends that were here, and we sat around it all day and very late into the night, like almost midnight. And the reason we left is because the cat started acting the same way. We were hearing footsteps in the woods, and I told my buddies, "Oh, it's just deer. There's deer everywhere here." But the cat doesn't act like that when it's just deer. Now I see her. Now she's looking over here. Here, she's crying again. So anyway, we had a great time. The food was delicious. My beautiful bride, Dearly, aka Giggly Girl, did a lot of cooking, and 5 or 6 of her Filipino friends were here doing some amazing, wonderful cooking. It was, oh my gosh, but I didn't gain a pound. It's great. I haven't really weighed myself yet, so famous last words. Okay, so I was talking with my buddies about a lot of stuff. We solved all the world's problems again, by the way, by the campfire. If the world would, and everybody in it would just do all the things we came up with last night as far as solutions for the world's problems go, it would be an earth-wide utopia. The problem is we just can't get people to do what we want them to do. Nah, it's okay. It's all good. I don't care. I live my life and let others live theirs, as do my friends. And this is one of the things that, I mentioned before Thanksgiving about how our Earth family was coming. We call these folks our Earth family because they're people that we have very selectively made the choice to befriend. And we had some neighbors here too, by the way. Again, not all my neighbors are a-holes, and I'm not an a-hole to all my neighbors. Most of them are wonderful people, and we just met some that we actually enjoy, so they came as well. But here's something that came up that allowed me to have this big aha moment, kind of like as to why we have selected the people who are in our lives. We don't have a whole heck of a lot of friends, and it is by design, but the ones we have, we know are true, loyal, faithful, non-judgmental, and they are not crabs. I repeat, they are not crabs. We do not befriend crabs. If you're a crab, you will not be welcome in our presence. We will turn and go the other way when we see you coming, and let me explain this. This kept coming up because a lot of my friends that were here, not all of them, but a lot of the American guys who were here have lived in the Philippines extensively. Some, were there for reasons I can't discuss. Some were there for pleasure, tourism. I, of course, lived there as an expat for many years. So one of my buddies kept using this term, crab mentality. And I asked him, I know I used to hear that all the time when I lived in the Philippines, but I probably haven't heard that term in 5 or 6 years. Can you remind me what it is? And he says, yeah, and he did, and he was spot on. But I've spent the day since he left. Him and his family stayed last night, but they left earlier today. And so I was running. I did my run after they left, and I kept thinking, what exactly causes this thing? And so I did some research, and I want to share it with you. So crab mentality is pretty much taking the attitude of, well, if I can't have it, you can't either. It's a mentality that people often have if they see a friend or a family member or just an acquaintance, somebody they know, either enjoying some success, it's something they've been working at, or when they see that they soon will be successful with that which they're working on, if they continue to pursue it because they're getting really close and are working really hard. It drives them insane with envy and jealousy, and so they will be very negative. They will make very disparaging remarks. There used to be a guy with the crab mentality that used to come around here that doesn't now, and thank God for little favors, who would always go on and on about how stupid the people who watched my YouTube videos were. He couldn't believe how stupid everybody was. And I used to wonder, why is this guy so negative? Well, it's just who he is. But this is an example of crab mentality. He didn't like the fact that this channel was growing huge and was getting big, which it now is. And he finally just stopped coming around because he couldn't stand us once we'd gotten to a certain level. And again, thank God for small favors. But here's where the name comes from. If you take a bunch of crabs and you put them in a pot, and I'm not even talking to cook them, you can put them in a pot or a bucket even, like you're out collecting crabs. As the individual crabs try to climb out of the bucket, the other crabs pull them back down. They just pull them back down. And it's not because they're panicking and they're all trying to crawl over top of each other to get out of the bucket, because if there would be a way to where if they did work together as a community, they could probably get out of the bucket. But they do it simply because the idea is, hey, I'm down here, I'm in this crap hole, you're going to be down here with me. You want out, you want something better, you want to go to college, you want to pursue a career that is, got a lot more perks to it than maybe other careers that don't. Well, no. And so a crab mentality is one where people go out to try to cut you down, slice you down, destroy you sometimes, so that you will not be successful, because they are envious, they are jealous, and their mentality is of a crab, and it's that if I can't have it, it means success, joy, prosperity, live the dream. Well, if I can't have that, you can't have it either. So that's what it means. So I researched it because I always like to know the history of terms and ideologies, and I like to know how they can be overcome. I guess this term is used a lot in the Philippines, not because, more Filipinos have crab mentalities than any other nationality. That's not true. Crab mentality exists in all societies and all cultures around the world. But the term is used heavily in the Philippines because it was coined by a Filipina, a woman, and gosh darn it, I should have written her name down to give her credit for this, but she was a journalist, a feminist, and a human rights activist. And she came up with this ideology of this, the terminology of crab mentality, because she wanted to explain, to people, hey, if you've got a friend or if you've got a family member that's trying to better themselves, they're trying to get to a better stage in life, stop pulling them down. If you want to stay where you are, that's your right. You have every right to stay where you are. You don't really have a right to try to keep someone where you are or where they are and where they've been if they don't want to be there anymore and they're willing to do the work and make the efforts to climb out of that bucket, to get into a better situation. So this big aha thing was like, wow, that's why the friends we have are the friends we have. I've never had any of my friends that were here yesterday, and a couple more were invited, and they had other plans. They couldn't make it, so I'm going to include them in this group too. Now, I'm not ill. That's just because I ran in this super cold weather here not too long ago. None of my friends and some family members that I've reconnected with for the first time in more than 10 years, I will include them in this group as well. None of these people who I allow in my life and who I take great joy from having these people in my life, and some of them back in my life after a long absence, have ever said anything to the effect that, OMG, I can't believe how stupid all those people are who watch your videos. Or, oh my God, why do people watch that crap? You sit in front of a camera and talk for 20 minutes and they look like, it's like they're looking for Bigfoot Sasquatch in the background. What idiots. They don't say that. They say stuff like, I thought your videos were kind of goofy at first, but I kept watching them. And now not all of my friends and not all my family watch my videos, but the ones that do, they're like, you make some good points sometimes. You're pretty witty, and I really enjoy just watching your videos or playing them and then doing stuff around the house while I listen. They're complimentary, and they go even further and say it's really amazing what you've been able to do with that channel. They are the opposite of crabs. And so it was like, aha, this is why these folks are invited to my home. And this is why other folks who have crab mentalities are not. It really is that simple. I don't want anybody coming around trying to drag me down or keep me here if I'm still trying to climb even further upward, which I am every day. I wrote today, hey, great news. We are only just a couple of days away from the release of Bigfoot Sasquatch Files Volume 12. And our recurring characters, such as Dr. Honorary, of course, Drake and Jane, and Burt Reynolds returns. And the storyline, the ongoing storyline that involves these folks, the thick is plotted tremendously now. So I know there's thousands upon thousands of you who read these things every time they come out. And so one of the short story collections might have however many short stories in them. Only one or two really pertain to the ongoing storyline, but then the rest are like standalone, have nothing to do with the ongoing storyline. I liken it to the X-Files. Remember the X-Files? Somebody commented here last week that my show is like their X-Files kick now that they've seen all the X-Files and stuff. I consider that a huge compliment. That person was not being a crab. And I'm going to get back to that too, because if you have crab mentality, and a lot of folks do, and it can come and go temporarily, I'm going to tell you how you can get rid of it. So anyway, a couple days away from that. And then also, since we're now, I guess, in the Christmas season, look at this. Available for purchase from our Etsy store. The link is in the description box below. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Starting to pump these back out. Getting back in the woodshed. You remember these from last year? Okay. So, back to this crab mentality. I really, truly believe most people are good. Without a doubt. I also wholeheartedly believe that if I come across individuals who have some issues, I have every right not to allow their issues to become my issues. And in the last 10 years especially, I have gone greatly out of my way to make sure people with problems, I don't allow them to make their problems my problems. Very straightforward with that. So here we go with the crab mentality. How do you get over it? The good news is this. It's not a mental illness. It's not a disorder. It is a mentality. It's a way of thinking. So how do we overcome crab mentality? Think differently. It really is that simple. Well, how do you do it? You stop. The first thing is, it's like addiction or any other issue you're trying to overcome. You have to admit that you have the problem. You have to say, okay, I have crab mentality. I know that I'll be talking to one of my friends and they're super excited because they just experienced success to some degree doing something. And I catch myself bringing them down. Like, what? How did that work? Wow, you got lucky. Or whoever you were dealing with in that deal was stupid for you to get such a deal like that. That's an example of crab mentality. So if you know you are kind of predispositioned to do that, stop. Okay? Number one, admit it. Number two, stop doing it. And you can do it with replacement therapy. The next time someone close to you, like a friend, a neighbor, a relative, family member, whatever, shares good news with you about something positive that's going on in their life or something they want to do in their life, they've got something they want to accomplish, stop and be cheerful. Just say, hey, that's great. Wow, that worked out for you. You got a new washer and dryer. It could be something as simple as that. I'm really happy for you. So you stop, admit you have the problem, stop doing it, but then you can't really like think your way into right acting. You kind of have to act your way into right thinking. That's why be cheerful and allow these people to have their joy and share their joy with them. Tell them kudos, high five, way to go, good job. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And what you'll find, and I read several articles about this, is that your entire environment will begin to change. You'll stop focusing, and this is something else you do to treat crab mentality. Stop focusing on the successes of the other guy or the other girl that makes you envious, and start looking at what you can do to be more successful in your own life, be it in your business, be it with your hobbies. Like I run. And I'm trying to get faster, trying to get back in shape, trying to get faster. And I mentioned this last time, the race I ran a couple weeks ago. The man that won that race is 59 years old. And he wins almost all of our local road races. And we have races every weekend in Charlottesville somewhere. I could say, man, I took all those years off from running. I'm past my prime. That guy just never stopped. He never took a break. He didn't have to go fight in a war. He didn't have to spend 6 months in the Army hospital having surgeries and all this crap when he got home. He's still good because of this. No, that's a crab mentality. And I've never said those about this guy. I'm using this as an example. I say stuff about this guy like, wow, 59 and he's still beating college students. I say, wow, 59, he's never stopped running. He never had those off years that I took, and he's just burning up the roads. I aspire to be like that guy. That's what I'm doing. And as a matter of fact, Dearly got footage of him in that 5K road race I ran here a couple weeks ago, of crossing the finish line first. I watched the footage a couple times to try to figure out what is it he's doing that's allowing him to be successful that I could possibly do myself. And after watching the reel there a few times, I figured it out. Flexibility. This man's strides are so long and so fluent, I would be willing to bet he spends as much time stretching as he does running. So the benefit to that, for those of you who aren't runners, let's say he and I are in equal fitness. We're the exact equal, our heart rates at rest is both 42 beats per minute. It gets low when you get in shape. Mine's probably 50-ish right now, but it gets really low. I had mine down to 38 once in college when I was running 70 miles a week. So let's say there's that. Let's say our height and body weight is the same. Okay, we both running 50 miles a week or whatever. He will run farther and faster than me because he's more flexible than me, because he's got a wider range of motion. So he's striding out maybe 5 or 6 inches farther with each stride than I am, with an equal amount of effort at an equal fitness level. But because he's so much more flexible, so much more efficient, he's going to beat me every time. So a crab mentality would have been to say make excuses as to why he's better than me. The anti-crab mentality is to say, what is it he's doing that's allowing him to be so successful that I might implement myself? And ever since I got that aha moment from watching those reels of him crossing the line, I have implemented a flexibility program like I have not implemented in my training since I was running track and cross country in college. So instead of becoming envious of those who maybe are in a place where we want to get to, or who are trying to get there, instead of pulling them down and being envious and jealous, we can learn from them through observation. And especially if we're cheerful for them and with them, we can add joy to our life instead of bitterness and envy and jealousy. And it's really not hard, but you have to want to do it. Okay, so I heard like a huff, like a grunt, like a and my cat is gone. So I guess it's time for me to get to getting. So again, Start your holidays off right this year. Get one of these from our Etsy store. And stop with that crab mentality stuff if you have it. Remember, it's not a mental illness. It's not some sort of mental health condition. It's a mentality. Mentalities being ways of thinking in which we actively choose to think those ways. If you think like a crab, stop. See you next time.